In Canada, Justin Trudeau is getting a lesson in democracy. Thousands of truckers have besieged his capital, Ottawa. His police are scrambling to contain the violence. Guess what the Prime Minister is doing? Tweeting from his secret hideout. Justin Trudeau moved out of his official residence last week. He and his family were moved to a quote-unquote undisclosed location. Days later, that location is still undisclosed. Meanwhile, this is what Canada's capital looks like. Hundreds of anti-vax protesters, dozens of trucks. It's a picture of anarchy. Now, just to be clear, we do not support these protesters. They're anti-vaxxers, their agenda is anti-science. What they're demanding could put lives in danger. Our concern is Justin Trudeau's reaction, his handling of this. He's not meeting the protest leaders. He's not reaching out to them. Instead, he's shooting out tweets. The Prime Minister of Canada, here's what Justin Trudeau is saying. Canadians have the right to protest, but let's be clear, they don't have the right to blockade our economy, our democracy, or our fellow citizens' daily lives. In other words, you can protest, but on my terms. That's what he's saying. Unfortunately for Trudeau, that's not how democracy works. Protesters do become unruly sometimes. Demonstrations do turn violent. When that happens, the government steps in. Police officers are deployed to maintain law and order. In fact, the city of Ottawa is doing exactly that. A state of emergency has been declared. Hundreds of cops have been deployed. Canada's plan is to end these protests.
Many of the actions that have taken place over the course of this demonstration have been unlawful and, frankly, disrespectful to the rights and freedoms of all Canadians. It is well past the time to bring this protest to an end. Canada is a peaceful nation, and we often serve as an example of hope to countries around the world.
Strange how times change. When Canada cracks down on protesters, it's an example of peace. When India does it, it's a violation of rights. The fact is, Canada's strategy was flawed. Trudeau never gave talks a chance. He did not offer concessions. He decided to brazen it out. But the Prime Minister made one crucial mistake. He underestimated the protesters. Let me show you what the US-Canada border looks like as we speak. Hundreds of trucks are stuck. And inside these trucks are important materials. We're talking about food, medicines, all kinds of supplies. How long before this traffic jam starts affecting normal life in Canada? So Justin Trudeau's opposition to these protests is understandable. But his response is not. Instead of reaching out, the Prime Minister is alienating the anti-vaxxers even more. He's turning them into anti-vax heroes. What's worse, this movement is spreading. Truckers in New Zealand are taking to the streets now. On Tuesday, they blocked the area around the Parliament of New Zealand. Guess what Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is doing? The exact same thing that Trudeau did. She has ruled out any kind of talks with the Freedom Convoy. It may seem like the right thing to do in the short run. But by ignoring these anti-vaxxers, these leaders are letting them grow in numbers. Yesterday, it was in Canada. Today, it's in New Zealand. Tomorrow, it could well be the United States of America, and that is going to be a disaster. The US has a large anti-vax population. Add some guns to the mix, and the situation could spiral. We are not saying government should give in to anti-vaxxers. We are saying they should win them over, at least try to hold talks, show them the science, beat the disinformation with facts. Ignoring the problem will only make matters worse. Until 2 years back, Justin Trudeau also agreed with us. He was batting for talks and concessions. Today he favors a crackdown. We would love to send him a few tips on handling protests, except his address is still undisclosed. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.